Light.
Brains.
Brains. Oh, hello again. Now we're in the 60s. Everything's changed. Horror's different now. We've moved out of the supernatural radioactive aliens and the 19th century dark castles. Now we're in supernatural entities, psychos and serial killers. And who can forget the zombies? Brains. Line.
Brains.
Basically in the era of the Hammer Productions, which is a production studio in London. And they produced a great deal of remakes of the original horror movies, like the silent films, which were modernised into colour and sound.
Which featured many films such as The Curse of Frankenstein and Dracula, and they had a lot of success internationally and nationally with their films.
One very infamous film from the 60s, which was, I think it was actually, no, the 50s rather, I think, was a film by Alfred Hitchcock known as Psycho, which was a big step forward in the slasher genre, because really there wasn't really any films like that at the time. There wasn't really a lot of slasher films involving people going around and butchering everyone in their way.
Such as Psycho, which delved away from the mutations and aliens and dealt mainly with the paranoia and the psychoticness of a human being, whereas a man here has got a lot of sexual frustration and also mental illness as well, and murders a lot of people that comes to his hotel. And you know, it delves into the mind of the humans and really pulls out a really spectacular film and really changes the genre of horror.
Of course, this film was very well known, largely known, mainly because of the shower scene where a woman gets stabbed in a shower, as we all know. Clip.
Also, one of the most iconic films of the time period that really helped boost the horror was George Romero's Night of the Living Dead.
Really be scared here.
Johnny!
You're still afraid.
Stop it now, I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Helped as well take away it, changing a different path, because it dealt more with zombies and took it more to the modern age at the time, instead of dealing with more the demonic or the ghosts or anything like that. So it really helped influence a lot of future film directors and production companies as well to create similar type of films that dealt more with the reality of what could happen nowadays.
Oh, hello. Caught me doing a bit of DIY, have you? Oh, well, we're not here to talk about DIY, are we? We're here to talk about DOA. As the 70s and the 80s progressed, cinema got more and more violent and much more gory. The slasher flick was born, and to this day it will continue to get made. So if you're a wee bit squeamish, I suggest you turn away now. Or not, it's no skin off my back.
During the 70s there was a big transitional period in gore and violence and all that stuff.
Italian film industry has influenced filmmakers for many years. Look at Halloween. Halloween is very much influenced by Dario Argento's films and also Mario Bava's films.
Slashers really started to become really popular with such films as Friday the 13th and Halloween, which is my own personal favourites.
You can see John Carpenter's influenced by these films in his film, especially with number 2. A lot of the death scenes.
The Halloween film was so iconic, especially for up-and-coming stars, and it was a great role how he had a child who was from a really loving family, a really well-off family, and how it proves that anyone, no matter what their family circumstance is, can be a bit psychotic in the head.
Michael?
Black Christmas was actually going to have a sequel called Halloween, but Bob Clark was talking to John Carpenter about it and give him the opportunity to make this film.
Who is that? Who is it? Claude? Who is that? Who is it?
Really, Halloween wasn't the one that really broke into everyone else doing slasher films. It was really Friday the 13th. The minute Friday the 13th came out, everybody was making slasher films.
In Friday the 13th, where you don't see who the killer is, and you find out that it is the mother who later on is the killer, and then once they started making the remakes, they changed it and became more of the son.
So that there was quite a change in the gore level of movies and horror movies in particular, because this was due to the conflict in Vietnam.
So they kind of took the violence from Vietnam and kind of recreated it in movies and kind of gave a more gritty, realistic sort of look to their films. Movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, based on a true story. While it's not very extremely violent, there are violent moments in it, and it still depicts something of a chainsaw massacre, if you will, very well. Vietnam sucked.
No, please, please, please.